Hello, Pioneers, and welcome to Update 6 of Satisfactory. My online nickname is Bed, and in this Let's Play series, I'm going to take you from the very beginning on an adventure across the planet of Massage 2AB-B. Right now, we are in space above the planet, just about to drop down into it as we begin our careers with Fix-It Incorporated. I just wanted to take a minute right here before I created the game to point a couple things out. As I said, the planet is Massage 2AB-B. There are 4 starting locations you can make, that you can select, choose from, start in. The first one is the grass fields. This is where we're going to begin our adventure. Each of these locations is on the same planet. The planet is not procedurally generated. It is handcrafted by the designers and artists at Coffee Stain Studios, and it is breathtakingly gorgeous. So each of these starting places is just a different location on the map. Here in the grass fields, it's nice and flat and open. It's in the southwest, south portion of the map. This is the rocky desert. It's gorgeous, fun to play in. They're all fun to play in, but we're going to start with the basic one. The rocky desert's in the northwest of the planet, or in the northwest of the map of our area of the planet. The northern forest is in sort of the northern central area, south of the coast. It's really great there, really beautiful trees, lots of resources. And the Dune Desert is also really fun. Not as much biomass as the other starting locations, but lots of nodes, lots of fun. We will be exploring all of these locations as we play, but let's start right here. And let's get down to planet and start our career.
Cut the legs off of our pants, threw our shoes into the ocean. Sit back and wait through the daylight. Sit back and wait through the daylight. Slip and slide on subway grades. These shoes are poor man's ice skates. Fall through like change in the daylight. Fall through like change in the daylight. I miss yellow lines in my road. Some solid on my metro. Maybe I'll paint them in myself. Maybe I'll paint them in myself. Maybe I'll paint them in myself. And here comes the night time. Step back and here comes the night time. Daylight, we could try to aim. I hope that someday I'll see without these frames. And in the daylight, I don't pick up my phone. 'Cause in the daylight, anywhere feels like home.
Okay, this is the drop pod. We landed, made planetfall here on Massage 2AB-B. Our first task is to dismantle this. So to do that, I hit F, and this is my dismantling tool. This is how you're going to take apart any builds that you make, any machines, any buildings, anything you place, you can pick up with this. Just hold down your left mouse button, and now we have it.
All important fixable.
That's Ada. Thank you, Ada. She's the artificial intelligence. She's going to be interrupting me a lot over this first episode as she tries to offer hints and tutorial guidance. to us, but that's what I'm doing. I want to teach you how to play the game, so I'm going to ask her to be quiet, although she still may interrupt me every once in a while. So, okay, she says we must open the codex with O. That's pretty cool. You, oops, wrong button. You hit O, and you can search for any part right here, and it will tell you the recipe for it. I don't use it a lot, but if you're trying to remember the recipe for a later or more complicated part, it's helpful to know. So, all right, now I'm gonna hit Tab to go into the inventory, and we're going to equip. I'm gonna hold Shift, left Shift, and left mouse button. That puts the Xeno Zapper, that's just like a little stun gun, right into my hand. You'll see we have a slot for head, body, back, and legs equipment. And then hands, we only have one box, but we will be opening several more, even in this episode probably. That drop pod became these hub parts, which is going to start our base. On this planet, there are passive and hostile fauna, and passive and hostile flora, funny enough. For example, that's a hog right there. New in Update 6, in case you've played Update 5 or previous, they did change the AI. It's not great. You're going to see him rear up here, and I'm going to dodge. It's not as easy to dodge him as it used to be, but it's still pretty easy. Of course, my game decided to load right then, and so there he is. So let's try to attack him. Which way to go? Alright, I'm going to dispatch him real quick so I can get on. Oh, that's smart. Alright, now that we've killed him, you're going to press E to pick things up and interact with things in the world. So I'm going to press E to pick up the hog remains. We're going to turn these into animal or alien proteins, and we'll use those for research and among other things. I'm going to start collecting biomass as we head over to where I want to build the base. In a nice flat part over there with lots of iron nodes. So what we're going to do is we're going to start heading over there, and we're going to pick up leaves. It says press E to pick up leaves. That's fine and dandy, but if it's highlighted like this and you press and hold leaves, I can attest they will just keep picking them up, and they've just also recently, with this update, drastically increased the speed at which you will pick them up because they understood how much of a slog it can be at the start. When I say they understood, I'm referencing Coffee Stain Studios, the publisher and creator of this game. So sometimes I'll say stuff like they, and I mean Coffee Stain. And sometimes I'll talk about how things used to be in the previous updates, mostly just because it comes into my mind and I think about it. These are pale berries. It's an edible healing item. They will regenerate the berries, so go ahead and just pick them when you see them. If you accidentally destroy the plant, they won't regenerate, but the berries will if you eat them. There's 2 more hogs over there, and we'll come back and visit them in a little bit. There's a rock. I'm going to come back in a little while. Actually, no, I'm going to talk about this right now. As we progress through the game, we're going to start with iron and then move on to copper, limestone to get concrete, coal, steel, all these other products. These are rocks that you can find out. This isn't a resource node. This is just a random rock. You can see it says it's a pure rock. Press E to pick it up. I'm going to chisel it up right now, and it's going to pick it up a little bit at a time until it's depleted, and then it's gone. The reason I did that is because I'm going to be able to use that quartz to unlock quartz faster than I would if I just waited for the game to give it to me in one of the tech trees. So it'll become clear what I'm talking about in a minute, but just know that I have those 17 pieces of quartz, and the reason I stopped to pick that up is because I'm going to be able to study it with one of our machines. Not in this episode, it'll be in the upcoming episode. In this episode, we are going to get basic production started. A couple machines, probably just smelters, built today, starting our first power plant. We'll get the hub built, and we will get the hub built and fully upgraded. That's where the episode will end today. These are barrel nuts. It's another edible that will regenerate you some health. They look just like pistachios, and I love that. I love pistachios, and I think I would love barrel nuts. Hey, there's a big guy. He looks like a tick, and he's passive, which is awesome because they're slightly terrifying. Good day. So these are the hogs. There are also spitters, which are a little bit tougher. They shoot fireballs and such. There are little crab flying things that are really annoying, called hatchers. And of those critters, they all have larger versions too. These are just the babies, so that's fun to know. If you don't like the hostile mobs, as I showed, they're pretty easy to destroy, but ignoring them for the most part is an okay strategy as well. You can usually just run right by them. I'm not sure if this is a loved or hated or what aspect of the game, but right now I'm holding left shift and you use the WASD keys to run around and the mouse to look around, right? But when you're running with left shift, I'm holding down and running, you can press C to crouch and slide, and if you press crouch and slide and then jump, you'll see how I launch into the air. I find it irritating to watch when people are making YouTube videos about Satisfactory and doing that, but you go a lot faster, as you can see. So I'm going to try not to do it all the time. I'm not going to try to have a lot of scenes of me just running around, first off, without cutting them out. And secondly, it's going to be hard for me to break the habit. So disgusting, and I hate it. Just look at them, all those tentacles hanging out for everybody. You should be ashamed of yourself. Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself here. Right now, the hint on the left side of the screen you'll see is to press V to scan for nodes. To find resources, you press and hold the V button, and this brings up this radial thing. You can move your mouse around and select what you want to scan for. Right now, we only have the technology to scan for iron, so I'm going to let go of V, and it's going to do that. And it's going to ping those three. There's two right there. We just passed two more over by those other hogs. As you'll see, it's telling us, 581 meters that way, 56 meters that way. We're going to find the iron that we are looking for. Let's build the hub first, though. I'm going to press Q. This brings up our builder menu. There's tabs out here separating all the different types of buildings we can do. Right now we only have special, which is the hub. You can only build one hub. You can deconstruct it and move it, but you can only ever have one because you have to have this piece right here. So anyway, I'm going to hit Q. I'm going to click on the hub, and that looks good right there, honestly. I can scroll my mouse wheel to rotate the building. I can move it up and down. You'll see the hologram will turn red if it's a place I can't put the... That manta is creeping me out. If it's a place I can't put the building, it'll be red, but as long as it's blue, we can place it. So let's left click, place it down, and now it's time to start upgrading the hub. These exclamation points are drawing our attention to it. This is a crafting bench, or a craft bench. In the craft bench, we can manually handcraft items. So right here it says we can make 26 iron ingots. That's because we have 26 pieces of iron ore. With that iron ore, we can make ingots. Then once we make ingots, we can make iron plates and iron rods. I'll show you that in just a second. This is the hub terminal. This is going to be the heart of the hub and one of the main, or the central things that we'll keep coming back to throughout the game. Right now we're on tier 0. The other ones will open up. For example, 1 and 2 will open up as soon as we complete the hub upgrades, which we will do by the end of the episode. So just left click tier 0, hub upgrade 1, click it. This tells us right here what the rewards are. This tells us the cost. We need to input 10 iron rods into this thing to upgrade the hub. It's going to give us 3 more inventory slots. See that? They call it the pocket dimension. It's going to unlock portable miners, which are little miners we can set on a node, and they will automatically gather up to 100 resources of that type, and then they will just hold it in there. They don't have an automatic output. And then equipment workshop is where we make equipment like the portable miner. So let's select that. And now it's waiting for those rods. So now I'm going to come into here, I'm going to select iron ingot, and I'm going to tap spacebar and craft them all into ingots. That's all you have to do. You don't have to hold the spacebar down. You can click and hold the left mouse button on the craft button, but it is not required. You'll see that the number of iron ingots we can craft is going down as we make more because we're using up the iron ore, but also that these are going, these numbers here for the iron plates and iron rods are going up. you'll see that we can make with 26 iron ingots, we can make 26 iron rods. That's because it's one ingot to one rod. Also of note, it says it takes hammer times 1. That's just that increment, that ding, ding, ding it was just doing when I was making it. That's the incremental, so every single hit is going to make 1 rod. The iron plates, on the other hand, take 3 ingots to make 2 plates, and it takes 3 hammer hits. So let's do the 10 rods that we need, and we'll upgrade the hub. I'm going to hold shift and left click to send that over automatically. You could also just drag and drop it. Upgrade the hub. We're going to get, you'll see immediately now, we have these 3 additional slots. We also have the additional buildings that they were talking about right here, the equipment workshop. Thank you, Ada. Also unlocked the personal storage box. So here we don't need any of this stuff. Okay, to do that, you can click and move over with your mouse. You can shift click to move a stack, or you can hold control and left click to move every identical item, all the items of the same type over at once. All right, this is wood, flowers, berries, that quartz, and the barrel nuts. Okay, I know I just said everything. That was dumb. You can also hit store all and take all. Let's select the next upgrade, hub upgrade 2. It's going to unlock smelters for us, which turn ores into ingots. Power lines, unlocking our capabilities to deal with copper, and even allowing us to scan for copper. So let's select that, and then go. I could just stand on these nodes. I need more iron. So I could come over here and just hold E and chip away at this. It'll never run out. The nodes are infinite. But since I have to get these rocks, rid of these rocks anyway, and each time I take from these pure ones, I get 6 at a time, I'm going to take this opportunity to clear these rocks off of each of these iron nodes so I can use them. There was a hog over... Oh, there he is. I saw him as I was spinning. Come here, puppy. Why won't you die? Where are your bits? Okay, if you remember our last upgrade, we unlocked portable miners and the equipment workshop. So even though it's not going to finish our hub upgrade quite yet, I think we should get that going to automatically pull the iron out of the ground for us. Oh, I didn't do all the rocks. I got distracted by this awesome thought. So to build a portable miner, we need an equipment workbench. To build an equipment workbench, that's a separate building or machine. That one's a building. So we hit Q, and the production, take this equipment workshop. Okay, you can see the cost on the bottom is 6 plates and 4 rods. We don't have that. If you click this little plus right here, we're adding it to the to-do list, which puts the required materials over here, which is handy for remembering things. You could also interact with this to increase this. Say I wanted to build a lot of something, or you can even make notes about things that need to be done. If you're playing on a server, you can make public notes to interact with your other players, the other pioneers that are working with you. So I'm going to start by smelting these ingots, and as soon as we can do, we have enough. I'm going to do my 4 of those and iron plates. I'm going to have to come right back and do some more in just a second, so I'm going to, instead of coming right back, I'm going to make a few extras right now because we're going to need these pieces to build the portable miners. That should be enough. I can't recall off the top of my head how many they are. So all those nodes over there, I'm going to be building out this way. Those nodes there, I'll probably be building out this way. Actually, I probably shouldn't have put the hub right here. So I'm going to build the equipment workshop right on this side. Again, I'm going to rotate the mouse wheel to move it. Right there, it's clipping into the hub, so I can't put it there. But that looks good. Even has a little door. I like that. In fact, I'm going to put the door so it's right here. Because I want to. I like that. Look at this place. I just love the details of this game. Glues, stuff like that. The tools down here. That's the base of a portable miner that we're about to make. So anyway, I hit E on this to interact with it. Here I can build 2 portable miners. So tap spacebar. I'm going to build the 2 miners. I'm going to come back and build probably 6 or 8 more in a moment here, but while we're actually, the iron's over here is closer. So I'm going to press tab to open up my inventory. I'm going to hold left shift and click to put it directly into my hands. Hit E or escape again to just have it in your hands, and then left click to drop it back down. So now these are going to pick up resources automatically, and they'll hold 100 like I said earlier. So I'm just going to build them now and let them go, and they're going to keep collecting the iron I need for the rest of this episode. Just take the iron out, you interact with the portable miner with E. You can double click, you can shift left click, you can click grab all to take all of the things, or you can pick up the miner, which will give you all the inventory inside of it, assuming you have space, and the miner itself. It says it's making 20 per minute. I wonder if these are normal over... I can't remember if these are normal or impure over here. That was impure too. So I'm going to go put it back over there so they're in the same spot. For some reason in my head I thought that they gathered 40 per minute, but that must be on a different... must be on a different strength node. Finish taking these rocks off. Then we will finish the hub upgrade too. Okay, now that that's done, we're going to make the pieces, the materials required for this hub upgrade, the 20 iron rods and 10 plates. You can see that in the upper right corner again. That's the milestone requirements. We'll probably almost always have something up there, and that's what we'll be working towards in general. Send those away. Boom. Hub got a wall. Also, what's that back there? Thank you, Ada. Thank you, Ada. Look at that. Another exclamation point. And that's our biomass burner. This is the very first electricity generating piece of equipment we've had access to. So what we're going to be able to do is fill this up with those leaves that we gathered earlier, and the wood, and the flowers if we needed to. Just going to start with a 500 stack of leaves. Toss them in there. And now we can generate a little bit of electricity if we had the required cable. See, this is a power line. We need cable for that. So we're going to need to get some access to copper. And we're also going to need access to concrete, which we can't scan for yet, but we're going to need it immediately. So what I'm going to do right now is take those iron ingots, and we're going to run back to the equipment workshop to queue up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more portable miners. Alright, give us the iron plates that we need. And in 23 ticks, I'll have the iron rods. And then we'll go and disperse these. I think I'm fine with just the 2 on the iron right now, because shortly after this episode we're going to have automated mining. And I'm just going to run 2 over to the concrete, and then I think I'll put 4 on the copper, just so I don't have to run back there as often. I know from experience that there is limestone node right here. It's a normal node. And I'm going to put 2 down here like we did for the iron and continue on. Pro tip number 1. Don't forget to put your weapon back in your hand in case you get ambushed. The fauna around here does not roam. Those hogs that were around, those hogs are by the resource nodes generally. They're by some objects in the world that we're not going to talk about yet. They're by some other sites of special interest. they are generally, or they're not at all, just roaming around. So I've already killed the hogs here, so I probably won't have to worry about them right here. They do not respawn if you're in an area where you have machines that have power. I believe that's the case. I'm not sure if it's a set number of machines or what, but I think once we have some machines going, they won't spawn back. And I'm not sure if they would spawn back now, how long that takes, but I'm not really worried about it. It's just something to note. So again, just like in the iron node, this rock on top is copper impure, but it will be gone now. Yep. And now here's our impure. I'm not even going to bother clearing that other rock off yet, because I have 4 of these. I lied. I said I wasn't going to, but you know what? I'm not going to run back yet until those fill up. So I'm going to get this rock right here. That cleared off. Take a minute to pick up some of this foliage. And maybe go grab a drink. Go get myself a pop. Or a soda. Or a fizzy drink. Or a Coke. Whatever you call it. Interesting story. Not that interesting. I was born and raised in the Midwest of the United States, in Michigan, and growing up we called it pop. At one point in my life I moved to the Washington, D.C. area and had to start calling it soda. Because if you said pop in the Washington, D.C. area, people would frown and not really know what you're talking about. And now that we've since moved back to Michigan, I have been unable to go back to calling it pop. So it's still soda to me. That pointless story probably took just enough time for us to empty each of these and then continue about our business. It certainly did. That right there is a slug. They're an important part of the game, and we will be picking them up soon. But there's nothing I can do with it right now, so I'm not going to take the time to detour. There's another slug right there. They glow in the dark, which is nice. The ambience at night is just really, really awesome. It's gorgeous. This whole game is fantastically gorgeous, and another one of the reasons why I think it's the best game ever. And believe me, I'm handsome. Okay, in my absent-mindedness of running around and dropping out those portable miners, we actually haven't signed up for agreed to the next milestone yet. So here's the hub upgrade 3. Oh, we already did get the smelter. So hub upgrade 3 is going to unlock the Constructor. That's an automated machine that has 1 input and 1 output for using belts and putting raw resources or raw materials into the machine, and it will output other materials. For example, you can put ingots into it and automatically output the plates or the iron rods, the iron plates, or the wire. Or you can even turn that wire into cable. Also unlocked, we're going to be power poles, which is something we're going to need to power to move power around. I'll explain those later when we have a need to. Also, it unlocks our ability to make concrete and search for limestone, and we can make screws and reinforced iron plates. So let's select that and almost get into it. What I want to do first is build a smelter. To build a smelter, we need 8 wire, 5 rods. So we've got plenty of those. All right, now. And now I'm making the wire here. I'm going to have to make some more ingots because we're going to need some cable. I need 8 wire to make that, but I'm going to need a cable to hook it up to power. I think 2 is probably enough. Okay, Biomass Burner. I'm going to press E with it just to show you the interface again and to talk about it. Right here it's telling us there's no connection. If this was connected to the power grid, whatever power grid it is, in general I run power lines across the whole map and we'll have one single power grid with generally a few main power plants. This would show the status in graph form of our power grid. I'll get into that later when we have something to see. Right here it's got full of leaves. It's going to use 80 per minute. It's going to generate 20 megawatts. So in 0.8 seconds it's going to eat 1 leaf. That's what that's telling us. Generating 20 megawatts. You can turn machines off and on with that button right there. Alright, so let's hit Q. Let's take the smelter. You'll see, here's our hologram again. We can turn it, there's a teal output and an orange input to look for, and then if it's far enough away, you can see where the power connection is. Alright, I'm going to move it over there. And hope that 2 is enough. Yep, I only needed 1 there. So now, I've just connected this power line. I pressed 2. If you look down at the bottom in the middle of the screen, that's my hotbar, where you can assign whatever you want to be in those numbers. So if I press 1, it's a power pole. If I do 2, it's power lines. So I should have illustrated that. I'm going to press 2 to do the power, to bring up a power line. I'm going to left click on that to run the power line, and I'm going to connect it directly to that machine right there, that smelter, to power it. Now, I can't make any other connections here. 1 connection per machine for the most part. There are some caveats to that. But what I can do to get more connections is use these poles, but I don't have any concrete, so we can't do that yet. But anyway, now that we've got a smelter that's powered, I can press E to configure it, and now I can select either iron or copper. So we're going to do iron, and I'm going to shift left click, throw it in there, and look at this. Now automatically, at a rate of 30 per minute, it's going to make 30 per minute ingots. The way to read this interface here, and I'll go over this probably several times, and it will be redundant, but it's important to understand. So this is taking 1 iron ore to make 1 iron ingot. So it's at an even rate of 1 to 1. So that's why this is 30 per minute, 30 per minute. So that's nice. It's draining 4 megawatts. Remember that power plant that we built makes 20. So off that alone, we can run 5 smelters, which is probably not a bad idea to hook up. But I digress. Let's finish this hub upgrade by hand, and then we'll set up more smelters once we have more cable. I mean wire. So I have 12 wire right now, so I only need 8 more. So build those 8. Build up to 20 iron rods, up to 20 iron plates, and then we'll be done. I should drop off all this other stuff I'm not in need of right at this moment, and I see I'm not holding my zapper anymore. I probably should be. So the barrel nuts, these can all be stored away. I'll be back for them shortly. Alright, upgrade 3 is done. Okay, there she is. Thank you, Ada. Thank you, Ada. Hub upgrade 4. Okay, right now what we just upgraded was constructors, but I think I'm going to, for the most part... no, I lied. I'm not going to build it by hand. We're going to try to automate it as much as we can. The next upgrade is going to unlock conveyor belts for us. The conveyor belts you use for plugging items into the inputs and outputs of machines and transporting them. The conveyor poles are what attach the conveyor belt to the ground. And more inventory slots, so it's win-win. Time to go and collect our resources. 126 copper. I think I'll take this opportunity to run and get the copper as well. Because if I don't, I'll have to turn around and do it again very soon, I'm pretty sure. So I'm going to just do the same thing we've been doing. I'm going to collect the limestone, then the iron, then the copper. Meet you back at the hub. Okay, we're back at the hub. Looking good. Let's check on our smelter. It's got, look at that, ingots. I love it. Let's take the ingots, feed it some more. I'm gonna start crafting up the concrete by, oops, wrong button. Okay, I'm gonna make this concrete. Then make the iron plates. Then we'll go check on the smelter again, because I didn't have enough iron to do all the plates I needed. And then as soon as we're finished with this hub upgrade, we can automate the smelting of the copper ore get a couple more iron, and then we will start using Constructor to build iron plates automatically. Okay, so we made the 20 wire. Oh, out of inventory space. That is fine. I decided to pick up the two of the four portable miners from the copper nodes over here. I don't want to store this limestone. I don't need it. I'd rather just have concrete. So I'm just going to trash it by dragging it down there. Oh, I'm not going to have enough. I was thinking it was 1-to-1, but it's 2 wires for 1 cable. Am I blind? I might be blind. I'm apparently overly tired, but I don't know what my problem is. I keep thinking I'm going to have enough. Okay, finish the wire, finish the cable, send this stuff, or use this stuff to construct further hub upgrades, and we'll get some automation done. Just like that. Alright, now we've got walls and a room and a computer.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Ada. While we're looking in here, if you die, if you're out and about and you die or you fall off the planet, there are some abysses that you can fall into, crevices, and you will just die. You will respawn back here in the hub. All the items you're holding will be dropped into a box on the ground, so you can go back and fetch it at a later time. But other than that, there's no penalty to dying, so even if you think you don't want to, say, explore and you don't like the idea of, say, the giant spiders that are out there, or the hogs, or the mommy hogs, or anything like that, if you die, you just respawn at the hub and can keep playing. It's not really a big deal. It can be frustrating, though, if you're far away exploring and die and lose your stuff, but upgrade 5 is going to give us the automatic miner, a larger storage container that has an input and an output for belt, and more inventory slots. So let's select that one. We already have some of the stuff, but instead of crafting that by hand, let's automate some more stuff. We've got a smelter here for iron, so let's get one for coal. Sorry, not coal. Copper. Okay. So I can do this a few ways. I can hit Q, I can click smelter, and I can place the smelter around. Okay? I can hit Q, I can go over the smelter, I can set Q to my hotbar, say 9, and then I can press 9 and then have it. Or I can press F, which is the dismantle, remember? This is how you would destroy things. Like this would destroy that if I held down the left mouse button. But if I middle mouse button, it uses it samples the building, and like a dropper mechanic will allow you to put that down. It selects it for you. I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. It's really handy when you're building a factory because sometimes you want to switch between walls and foundations and stuff like that, and you can just easily click and grab what you need. So anyway, we are missing what we needed for that. Let's build 3 more smelters. So we'll have a total of 2 for both iron and copper. And then let's start with 3 constructors. I'm not going to worry about copper right now. I'll build 1 constructor for the plates, iron plates, 1 constructor for the iron rods, and then I'm going to do 1 for concrete as well, and then I'll just do the wire by hand until we finish this point. So let's go craft these materials up. We're going to get a few of extras so we can run the power lines that we're going to need. So I think I'll start out by getting, say, 30 of these. You're going to need more wire, and I'm going to have to hand smelt these ingots. I'm not sure how that works, but definitely like to see. I missed that we're going to have to make the cable too, so we're going to have to make even more copper ingots. So while we're sitting here, hanging out, making smelting copper ingots by hand together, maybe you'd consider subscribing. It's free to you, and it'd really help out my brand new channel, and I would appreciate it. Hope you're having fun. I know I am. And if you can tolerate the sound of my voice, then just give it a little sub. Leave a comment. This is my first video ever. You could be the first commenter on my first video ever. And now we can talk about reinforced iron plates. We haven't seen those yet, although you can see them here on the Craft Bench recipes. We require 6 of them. And what we could do is you can just click on it for one. But don't forget, we could also hit O and type reinforced. Click on reinforced iron plates. And here it says the standard recipe. Now there might be other recipes that we'll unlock later, and I will explain that to you when the time is right. But right now, all we need to know is that to get 1 reinforced iron plate, we need 6 iron plates and 12 screws. So I'll start making the screws we need. We needed 6 times 12. Okay, now that we've used those rods for making the screws, we no longer have enough rods for that. So, craft some more of those. And then there, now you'll see reinforced iron plates 1. Well, we only have 6 iron plates and we need more. So, let's start crafting those. And as we craft more of these, you'll see this tick up. So we need to wait for that to get to 6. And then we can complete our little project here. Our little factory that we're going to tear down immediately next episode. But for right now, it's going to help us do these last 2 hub upgrades. Maybe we won't tear it down. I don't know. Alright, I'm going to press F, middle mouse button to get the smelter. Now you can see that line, that's a centering line. That means the machines are lined up. So right there, they're in line with one another. If I hold left control now, so you'll see down in the bottom middle again, it says that'll snap to guidelines. So I'm just holding left control and I'm gonna snap these into place. That one's caught on a rock, so I can clip into the rock if I don't care about it being straight. Yeah, there. Clip it right into the rock. Alright. This one I want to be copper, okay, and this one I want to be copper. But check this out, Control C, Control V, setting pasted, boom, copper. So Control C, Control V, boom, love it. They made that easier this update, which is a godsend. Okay, now to make power poles, you can press number 1, as you can see, because it's on my hotbar already, and it will be on yours too to start. You can press 1 and make a power pole, or you can press 2 to run a power line, click it to a machine that can accept the power, click, and you'll see it puts a power pole at the end of the wire. So now I can move it around, I can move it over there, I can say floor too steep, or it could say wire too long if I send it way over there. Your wires can only be so long, so eventually it'll say wire too long and you'll have to make a new power pole, put a power pole down, and then connect a new wire to that. You'll notice here it's blue, meaning I can build it. This is what the game refers to, or the Coffee Stain Studios refers to as clearance. So blue means there's no interference of clearance, and you can place it down right away. Yellow means that it is clipping, but it is a soft clearance clipping, meaning it's going to, if I click the left mouse button right now, it will put it down right there. It'll be clipping into each other, but everything will still function normally. This is awesome. It has a lot of implications for building and design that we're going to hopefully utilize and enjoy. But so yes, yellow means soft clipping and means it's okay. Everything will still work as intended. And like I showed you earlier, red means you can't do that. Okay, one last thing. If you... Alright, I'm going to click that right here. Click the power pole again to move it over to here to power those two. Now when I'm looking directly at the power line, it tells me how many connections it has at the top. It's got 1 out of its possible 4 connections. Okay? When you're running up a power network, say you're running a strip of machines, and each power pole can have 1 line leading into it, and then 1 line leading out of that power pole to go to the next power pole. That leaves you with 2 connections. So each power line, you can connect to 2 machines, and then if you're going to keep running power, like I'm doing right here, you can only do 2 at a time. So if you press E on a power pole, it's going to bring up the grid of our power grid. It's going to be, it's going to bring up the graph of the power grid, like I was telling you when we were looking at the biomass burner earlier. I'll explain this in a lot more detail later, but you'll see all the different lines, and at the bottom it tells you what they mean. How much we're consuming. So none of the machines have anything to smelt in them, so they're not running. So they're consuming 0.4 megawatts only. And so our production is only 0.4 megawatts. The only good thing about biomass burners is that they only produce what they need to. So you can see that the capacity right here, our capacity for power is 20 megawatts. The maximum we can consume if everything is running is 16. So if assuming we don't run out of fuel in a biomass burner, we cannot exceed our capacity with our consumption, which means that we cannot have a power cut. We cannot lose power and have a blackout. So yeah, anyway, takeaway is the one biomass burner has 20 capacity. We only are going to use 16 of it. I'm going to empty out the ingots and fill these with the ore, and they're going to get smelting on their own. Alright, the constructors, since they're just temporary, I'm going to put them out over here. Just because the other power... I've changed my mind. I'm just going to have this biomass burner powering these 4 things, and then in a moment here, we're going to get another biomass burner right there, and we're going to use it to power these things. So we're going to build 3 constructors. Again, I'm just holding left control to snap it quick like that, so they're all in line. I'm going to set this one to iron plates, this one to iron rods, and this one to concrete. I've changed my mind. Let's do the wire. Alright. So once again, to explain this is going to take 1 copper ingot, and in 4 seconds it's going to take 1 copper ingot and turn it into 2 wire, meaning that this thing can, at the input, you'd input 15 copper ingots, and at the output you're going to receive 30 wire per minute. So it's going to make 2 wire every 4 seconds. Right now it's running with 0% efficiency because it's not on. And this machine is going to take 4 megawatts of power as well. So all 3 of these are going to consume 12 megawatts of power, and we're going to be generating 20. Cool. While those are smelting, let's go and collect a little bit more biomass so we don't run out of power. Because that would not be efficient. And we're nothing but efficient here at Fix It Incorporated. It's probably enough, to be honest. Let's see how we're doing. This shouldn't take long, honestly, with all these machines running. I'm going to need to go collect some more iron ore. And I can top up the ore here. I'm just holding shift and left clicking. I'm going to grab all from this, press E on it, hit grab all. So we can top up the iron. I haven't hooked these up to the power yet because we don't have a second biomass burner, and I cannot make it yet. In a moment here we'll unlock a biomass burner here that I can have. That's a freestanding one. So I'm going to make the 50 cable and 75 iron rods. I also took the opportunity to craft up some the remaining iron ingots into iron plates for a reason that will become clear in a moment. We ran out of power. That is unfortunate. So we burned through all those leaves. Now we're just going to throw some more in, and it will continue. Everything will just start right back up. It's really nice. You can see the dip right here. Okay. Let's upgrade the hub again. There we go. Last one. Are you excited? I'm excited. I'm getting excited anyway. Let's get this done. Hub upgrade 6. This is going to let us build the space elevator, which is the single greatest thing in any video game of all time. Ever. It's very special. The animation, everything about it is fantastic. Everybody loves it. You're going to love it. I love it already. These are the standalone biomass burners I was referencing, and now we're unlocking 2 new biomass things. They look the same, I hear you say. Yes. Except one is we're going to be able to turn leaves into biomass at 1 ratio and rate, and the other one's for wood. So let's select that one.
Congratulations.
And thank you, Ada. I appreciate that so much. And look at that. Another biomass burner. Just in time. So, this is embarrassing. I can't afford that. Okay. Let me grab some. Let me hand grab some of this. There, it's deflated my whole moment. I was going to have this whole... We were going to have a moment. I was going to say some words and then say some other words. But now I had to run and handcraft some more stuff. This part of the game can be tedious, I admit. But it's one of my favorite parts of the whole game. Getting your feet wet and running around again. Slide jumping to and fro, going back and forth. It's a slog, but it's good, entertaining, fun. I've started over more times than I'd like to admit, mostly because once the builds start getting so big and the numbers of items you need so extreme, I get overwhelmed. And then instead of playing the game, I worry about what I'm going to do when I'm playing the game, and then I don't have fun. And that's annoying. So I'm going to run a power pole off that, and then one over here. And you know, like I was saying, 1 in, 1 out, and then 2, but I'm not going to run out from this one, so I'm going to just be naughty and power all 3 of those. And now we're going to hand fill them with ingots. No, wait. We're not. Look at that. I pressed 3 to get the conveyor belt because it's down on my hotbar right there. I plugged it into the output of that one, excuse me. And I'm running it to the input of that. This is Conveyor Belt Mark 1. As you can see from the logistics menu right here, these are now unlocked. And if you mouse over this, you can see on the right side there under info, it says that a Conveyor Belt Mark 1 can transport 60 resources per minute. So that's great. It can do 60. We're only getting 30 per minute. And this one only needs 30 per minute. See, it's turning 3 iron ingots every 6 seconds into 2 iron plates, which is going to give us a 30 per minute input requirement of iron ingots and a 20 per minute output of iron plates. Pretty great. Yes, so this one only needs 15 per minute, and it's going to output 15 per minute. But the smelter is going to do 30 per minute anyway, and that's fine. Eventually, we're going to unlock some other things that are going to let us split the lines and everything like that. More logistical components and buildings and items we can do, like a splitter. So I'm going to hit 3 to do a conveyor belt. Don't forget, I could also hit Q, go to logistics, click conveyor belt, and I could also look at this belt, press F, look at that belt, and middle mouse click. Okay, so now we're going to look at it, and you'll see it's going to be running out. The game's definitely smart enough to know, like if I build that right there, it's going to be running into the input of that building. So it doesn't matter which way you go. So I can take that from right there, run it right into there, and see, look, it's clipping. Lots of people hate that. I'm not going to care every single time that's happening. I don't want to, make every single belt every perfect, or I'll be angry. I'm just going to, enjoy playing the game. So that's fine. This is okay for me. And I'll send that one. That's the copper one, and it's going to go right into the wire. And once again, this is going to require only 15 per minute, just like the iron rods. But it's going to get 30 per minute from the smelter, and it's going to turn 1 copper ingot every 4 seconds into 2 wire. So you'll actually see we actually output 30 per minute. I need 20 more concrete bags. Let's go pick up the limestone and talk about future episodes. I'm just kidding. I don't know what the future episodes are going to hold. Time will tell. Hopefully you're enjoying it. I'm enjoying it. I'm having more fun than I thought I would. Have you no shame? Okay, we've got the concrete. All the concrete we're going to need for the rest of this episode. I might as well just throw it right in there. Have all the wire I need as well. It's convenient. Yeah, the iron plates are always... Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm an idiot. I need to fill this too. Otherwise it's not going to run. Here's a tip. If you want to see how many you have of something, hit F to do the dismantle and point at the machine. And as you'll see down there, I'll get the 3 ingots that are in it, and it has 72 plates in it. So that's kind of a quick way to see at a glance, since we know that's making iron plates, that's about how many it has in it. More, that's it. All right.
Congratulations, you have unlocked. Build
Thank you, Ada.
motivational message. Congratulations, you succeeded in every provided task.
Look at that.
On behalf of Fixit Incorporated, I thank you for your
Drop pod is
service.
here. Thank you, Ada. That means a lot. I really appreciate it. This drop pod is what we're going to use to send some resources back up to space, because that's what we're here for. Setting project parts back up. Interacting with the hub terminal again now, you will see we are into tiers 1 and 2. We'll go through these later, but basically we're not going to necessarily go in order. For example, here in tier 2, obstacle clearing is going to give us a chainsaw. It's going to make getting biomass easier. And it's not hard to unlock. You can see down here, we already can make all that stuff, as opposed to, say, doing jump pads, which is going to use rotors here, which we can't even make yet. So we might jump around a little bit, but I'm going to try to go in order. Another thing I'm going to try to hold myself to is I'm going to automate every item that we need to automate as it's unlocked with whatever small factory we need. It could be a big factory if we're feeling frisky, or just a small factory. Because even if you're only making 1 or 2 items per minute of something, if you go off and explore for an hour and come back, you'll trickle some in. So I call it the trickle approach, and it's fine. It's gonna be great, I promise. So let's get these filled up, and look at that. We've upgraded the hub, and that's great. Next episode, we're going to build some more machines to create more parts, so we can use those parts to build more machines, and we can use those machines to build more parts to build... Episode over.
Fall through like change in the daylight. Fall through like change